Hi, this is Naroki5. I am going to be doing this until I die or I find something better to do. So please help me achieve this personal and, I think, noble objective by contributing to my Patreon or Subscribestar. Link is down below. Every little bit helps. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. This is the Red Pill Nation Hangout. Happy New Year to everybody. I'd like to welcome aboard our newest commercial sponsor. Here he is.
After collapsing on the football field. After collapsing in the middle of the game.
Collapsing during the game.
Collapsing on the tennis court.
Suddenly collapsing.
The player collapsed
and died
after collapsing.
Are you tired of being called a conspiracy theorist? Do you see patterns where other people don't? Are your relationships with your friends and family suffering as a result? Well, then ask your doctor about noticinol. Noticinol is an FDA-approved drug that helps people afflicted by chronic noticing. It works by suppressing the part of your brain responsible for critical thinking so you can get back to living carefree. Side effects of taking noticinol may include, but are not limited to, heart attacks, sudden adult death syndrome, storming the Capitol, unironically enjoying late-night television, and in rare cases, Bryant's deltoiditis. People who take noticinol once a day report up to a 97% decrease in noticing. Do your own research to find out if noticinol is right for you.
You can't stop coincidences from happening, but you can stop noticing them. And now, for more severe cases, try extra-strength noticinol Jew.
Say goodbye to noticinol.
Extra strict noticinol Jew. Oh my. Well.
No. Don't you know the Jews caused the dinosaurs to be extinct, caused the Big Bang, and caused the Ice Age all at the same time?
Well, all I'm going to say is here at the Red Pill Nation Hangout, we have fucking no standards at all.
Actually, we have one standard, which is no standard.
This would almost make Ethan get a Woody. I mean, really.
Yep. Well, so yeah, this is the Red Pill Nation Hangout. It's just me and Rearson. I was gonna do this later on today, but first Sunday of the year, and I've got a tradition that I've been following. God, since I left Banff all those years ago. I started doing this. Yeah. First Sunday of the year, I will always go to a movie. Now, that movie, to me, is a signal that the holidays are officially over and that it's time to start getting serious about the year. Things didn't work out because I was actually working, and then I had to if I had moved everything, I had to literally hit the ground running as soon as I got home. But you know what? I need to get these resets in. So yeah, so the show is not going to be, it's going to be Sunday afternoon instead of Sunday evening. This will probably be the only time it happens. We might just start going live cast at some point. Rumble has that option. Might just start going live on Rumble. I'm investigating it. We can also go live on Odyssey as well. So there's an idea, but that'll be for another time. Right now, we're still doing this here. So, with me tonight, of course, I am your host and somewhat sane individual. I'm still looking around for all those marbles I lost when I was a kid. I am the Roki 5. With me today, and the only other person sitting in the chair is, and knowing this guy over half my life as well. Rearson, introduce yourself.
I question my sanity sometimes at this point in my life. I'm not going to say I don't really have much to say except the first couple of topics. Actually, let me just go over and see what we have coming down the pipe for your entertainment too. Well, whenever you're going to listen to this. 1, yeah, 2, oh boy, 3. I can't wait. Could put 4 and 5 together now that I'm looking at it, but whatever.
I had a wrong button. I hit the wrong button. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, I'm looking forward to just dumping on the topics for tonight, as I love to do. So, all right, man. Let's get this shit going.
Okay, so we've got. For those of you who don't know, I am at Patreon as the Rookie 5. I'm at Subscribestar as the Red Pill Nation. I am at MGTOW TV, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, Brighteon. I do have a YouTube channel which somehow is managing to grow, even though I'm not doing anything to promote it. I'm up to 4 whole subs now. Considering that I don't do a single goddamn thing to hype that channel. 4 is actually pretty amazing.
It's gonna get throttled. Just saying.
Yeah, you can't have a subversive channel with 2 whole views on it spreading misinformation. Also, I am at Facebook. Facebook, Minds, Gab, MeWe, Getter, and the TLB talks. That is it for now. I keep saying it, and eventually, obviously, it wasn't going to happen on this run of days. These sets of days off because I just haven't got the time for it. iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, all of those. It is going to eventually end up on there. I'm just not sure when it will go up on there because people are listening to Manosphere content, and that's something that we're going to find out tonight as we actually go through the list of topics here. So the topics for tonight, topic number 1, conservative women start attacking the Manosphere en masse. 2, actress with large boobs gets offended when people comment on that fact. Milana Vayntrub. Number 3, boobs. Yes, this is the second show in a row where we're going to be talking about a woman's boobs because we're just that kind of show. Number 3, Star Wars gets woker, hires hardcore feminists to direct newest film. 4,
what could go
Claudine Gay forced to resign as Harvard president over plagiarism scandal. Topic number 5. Hollywood revenue tanks down $8.8 billion since 2019. By the way, anywhere between 1/8 and 1/4 of that is just Disney all by itself.
Okay, that was the question I was going to ask about that.
Yeah. Number 6, establishment trying to push Nikki Haley hard for VP. Yeah, when I get to it, it's pretty obvious that has not worked. But when I get to it, we'll talk really hard. And this was the last one added right at the last. Like literally, I found out about it like 10 o'clock last night. Elon Musk nukes Mark Cuban from orbit. Oh, that one is
all right.
That one is special. That one I had to throw in. So anyway, let's just get this show started here. We've just given you I have decided that I'm going to do an Epstein a show exclusively on the Epstein client list, just because there's just too much stuff there. If we had gone on to it, we might go over the 4 if we had it in as a topic, especially with all the other topics that we have. We would have been on here for like 4 hours. So I decided that we're going to do an Epstein client thing. We might do that Monday or Tuesday, depending upon what happens. But let's get into the main topic tonight, which is the first topic of the show, which is also, by the way, going to consume a fair amount of time anyway, and that is the sudden attack, a large number of attacks from conservative women attacking the Manosphere. Now, we did cover this partially in 350, but now we're giving it a full and actually it does tie into topic number 2, but in a different way. There was a series of, well, first of all, there was Calendar Gate and Kate Gate, which we talked about in 350. The only thing I want to say about 350 and Kate Gate is boobs. But that's just me.
Titties, yabos, melons.
Yummy, yummy, yummy titties. Okay, all right, let's get back to
until they're sagging down to her belly button. Just saying.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the whole situation here is that, I mean, what you saw there was, I was like, yeah, okay, big deal. All right, maybe if I was married and I had a wife that had access to my internet, except of course, even if I was married and if I didn't know what I knew now, but knowing what I know now and I was married, my wife would not have access to my phone, to my internet. There would be a vase in my office with stuff in there that she does not have the combination to. And I mean, I hate breaking it down to keeping secrets on your wife, but there's just stuff that I do that can be too easily taken out of context. In fact, it is, if you know anything about Destiny and a few other anti-Manosphere content producers, they routinely do take stuff out of context. And we also covered that on 350. About the lack of information that most women have about the Manosphere, or with the fact that they haven't even really bothered to look. But what I was noticing, and this is something that I had noticed, have been noticing going on for a while. There was, but I mean, it just suddenly, there was a sharp increase on it right at the start of the year. Now, I'm familiar with Lauren Chen, but there was a woman on Twitter at one point that I had to call out because she blatantly lied about the Manosphere. And of course, there was a whole pile of white knights that jumped in and started defending this woman. And I was like, well, I mean, she just posts up these screenshots and claims that she sees this all the time, but doesn't give us any links to the site or anything like that. So that could have come from anywhere. She could have actually printed that stuff off herself. Or she could have gotten it from a feminist website. Because, yeah, this is something that feminists have done, or anti-Manosphere guys people have done in the past, where they will manufacture a thread, post it up on an open Manosphere site, and then screen save it, and then try to claim that they got this post without any reference to the original source or whatever. So, I mean, and also, Lauren Southern actually pulled something like this herself. I don't know whether she actually got that particular post from a MGTOW or not. The fact of the matter is that you had Shoe on Head, Lauren Southern, all of the usual suspects jumping in. Now, what I have noticed is, what I've noticed, though, and what was really the tipping point for me was the hypocrisy of Ashley St. Clair. That was the one that finally got me to go, okay, you know what? Where there's smoke, there's fire. Too many conservative women, literally, and there was another one, Cat Canada, a person who I actually strangely agree with politically, but I just saw this. There was a dearth of them. There's Ashley St. Clair, there was Cat Canada, Lauren Chen, a few other women that all just kind of dogpiled onto the Manosphere all at once. I'm bad with names, but Cat Canada and Ashley St. Clair are the two that come specifically to mind. Ashley St. Clair posted up a video that was probably one of the densest fucking things I've ever seen about the Manosphere, ever, right? Just completely, I mean, I've actually got it saved somewhere. I just don't have it immediately on hand, because if I had it immediately on hand, maybe I will bring it up here at some point. But the whole thing with that particular, let me just see if maybe I did post it up here without knowing about it. No, I didn't. Maybe it might be on my it might be on it, I'm gonna be looking for it here on the in my saves while I'm busy talking about this. Well, what essentially Ashley St. Clair did in this particular video is like, well, if you want to be with one of us, you have to, and we all hate you. And it's like, oh, there it is. Okay, found it. All right, I'm going to post it up here. And I'll actually post it up at a couple places, and then I'm going to play it. But it's like, the assumption is that the Manosphere wants women to be barefoot and pregnant. And that is not necessarily the case. There has been, and again, in a strange kind of way, maybe I should be thanking Destiny for this, because what Destiny attempted to do is because the Manosphere doesn't have an actual definition of what a high value man is or a high value woman is. They projected that out to equate to that it was an attempt to project that out, because they don't have any answers for this one or this one or this one or this one or this one. And it ended up and she said a bunch of stuff about the Manosphere. We hate you. And she started speaking for all women. And if you want to combine that with some of the stupidity that I've been seeing on Fresh and Fit and whatever, it's like, it's very, very, very clear that, these people, that there's a segment of the population that just does not have a freaking clue about what that the overwhelming majority of women out there, just conservative, liberal, centrist, whatever, do not have any sort of a clue about what the Manosphere is about. But since I downloaded this, I'm going to see if I can't play it here. Let me just give it a second, and then I could probably give a much better, proper response after I played the video. So here we go.
This video is not going to go over well with a lot of my audience, but I feel like I need to say it for record's sake. A lot of the rhetoric happening on the right, women are fed up with. On this Manosphere right-wing. This video is not going to go over well with a lot of my audience, but I feel like I need to say it for record's sake. A lot of the rhetoric happening on the right, women are fed up with. On this Manosphere right-wing side of things, women are relatively repulsed by this. And these are women who most of you would die to have pregnant and barefoot in your kitchen. And they want nothing to do with you. Because for whatever reason, this discourse has been relatively one-sided about women and women's body counts and women's behavior without any regard for the individuals on the other side of those interactions. And I'm the mother of a young boy, and I vehemently disagree with the rhetoric that all men are evil and, the feminist rhetoric, particularly in 2016, 2017, but there should be a discussion, an honest discussion about both sides.
Oh, for God, you know what? It keeps freezing up on me. I'm going to have to, I'll post it up later. I will just, but I've seen it a few times now. I can give you a gist on this. What she's basically saying there is that, women want to make the discussion that men are having around relationships with women. They want the discussion to be about them. that was the really angry response to it. And here's the thing: discussion isn't about them; it's about men discussing what they need to do in their lives about the current gender dynamic. Women, and this is the part that really gets me about this is that women, yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're doing it early, so if you want to jump in, you can jump in. Is that women seem to think that they've got the right to just suddenly barge into this conversation, and suddenly they get to have a say in what's being discussed. And I can tell you, without any hesitation, if women tried to, and this is part of the reason why she put this up and then she immediately deleted it. The part of this issue is, first of all, if conservative women tried to do that, first of all, MGTOW is the single biggest faction in the Manosphere, and the MGTOWs just simply would not allow it. And the MGTOWs, by the way, and when I get around to playing the full thing, you will get what I'm talking about here. MGTOWs really don't give a shit whether females approve of their actions or not. And that's just a fact, you know. You don't get a say. It's not a coincidence that Ashley St. Clair got absolutely yelled and screamed out of it, into taking it down. And of course, you had the usual selection of white knights that showed up to defend her. And it was, and I'm like, no, dude, fuck off, right? Like, I mean, I'm at the point, and this is just me, I am personally at the point now where if some white knight comes in and starts trying to defend her, I mean, that guy gets absolutely no fucking mercy from me. Like, none, right? On a personal note, this is me, this is the MGTOW. This is MGTOW me. And I'm not even going to apologize for it, because I think there's a lot of women that need to start hearing this straight up. You don't, when it comes to MGTOW, you don't get a say. And I really don't want to hear your fucking opinion. Where were you, Ashley, when they were doing the Gillette commercial? Where were you where have you been all of these years when, you've had agency after agency and Hollywood treating men like being male as some type of a fucking social? Where the fuck were you? Oh yeah, that's right. You were running an OnlyFans. Yeah, don't think that hasn't.
What?
Yeah, sexy laptop. She's managed to delete a lot of the stuff on there. But yeah, apparently she was running an OnlyFans at one point called Sexy Laptop. Wow. And yeah, you don't get a opportunity to, and it's like, and this is part of the reason why she got yelled and screamed down, is because she thinks that she deserves, just because guys in the past have allowed her and have allowed women into their spaces. And this is something that, I mean, there's going to be some guys in the Manosphere, and this is I call this the ghost of Lawrence Southern, right? There are going to be guys, including a lot of MGTOW guys, then I gotta go, oh, well, we need to hear from her. And it's like, no, we fucking don't. Okay? Like, the bar has to be set fucking high now. You don't just let a woman into you don't let a woman into the fucking manosphere just because she's got a great body and a nice rack. Yeah, that's not a good enough reason anymore. Lauren Southern took advantage of that, and she abused it. Now the bar has to be set high, and Ashley St. Clair has not met that bar. Neither has Lauren Chen. Neither have any of these new thoughts that have suddenly conservative. I'm using a term from the Black Pill and from other factions inside the Manosphere. And just being a conservative thought is not enough to allow you access in. You have to have a track record. You have to be a Karen Strawn. You have to be Tara Palmache. You have to be. There are women around. For instance, right? Pearly Things. She's passing the bar, but the bar has to stay up for her, right? Because if we let the bar down, if we start allowing her, and there's been some guys in the Manosphere that don't have a particularly high opinion of her. There's a possibility that she might try to slime her way out of it, right? And there's a lot of guys, there's a few of them around right now, and there's a few of these women around right now that have suddenly decided that they've got the right to barge in on the Manosphere, and it's like, no, you don't. You don't get a fucking say. Especially in MGTOW, and if there's any guy in MGTOW that tries to allow these women to have their say, and this is what's going to happen, right? You're going to get the red pill guys, and you're going to get a few MRAs in there that are going to try to invite these women into the discussion, and the MGTOWs are going to, even though they're not the majority, they are the single largest faction, and they will fucking scream these people fucking right out of the place. And of course, we all know what's going to happen, because that's what Sydney Watson is another one that's been doing a lot of it lately. And what they'll do is they'll pull a Sydney fucking Watson or a Lauren Southern, and they'll start playing fucking victim, right? And yeah, Sydney Watson was good in calling. It was a kind of a fluke that she called Jack Murphy. But I mean, the way I'm seeing Sydney Watson act, though, I am actually starting to think that Sydney Watson may have done that on purpose, based upon some of the stuff I've seen her do since. And without any further ado, before I turn it over, welcome V. By the way, your camera is on, and it's nothing but black. Just thought.
Yeah. Well,
here's the video. Here's the
Sorry.
video. Yeah, here's the video once again. Hopefully it won't stop. Hopefully it's fully uploaded now. But here is Ashley St. Clair in her words. And just one other thing. Ashley St. Clair, your approval is not wanted, your approval is not needed, and your approval is not required. I am not concerned about whether I'm going to end up with a woman, because not getting into a relationship with a woman or cohabitating with her is the actual fucking goal. And if you had actually taken the time to do any research before posting up what you posted, maybe you might have come off a little bit better. But yeah, here she is in her words. Take 3.
This video is not going to go over well with a lot of my audience, but I feel like I need to say it for record's sake.
Don't bother with it, Naruki. Just add it in at the end, or add it in somewhere, however you're going to do it. That's my suggestion.
Jesus fucking Christ. It just keeps locking. Yeah, yep. It just keeps locking up. Anyway, V, you're up.
Yeah, well, taking control of my device here. Yeah, well, it kind of reminds me, of Big Red. Remember her?
Yeah, I definitely remember Big Red.
Can't forget a lovely looking face like that with the crazy eyes.
Oh, wow. yeah, it was awesome because she would just scream at people for not letting her talk in these discussions out on the street. But then,
Anyway,
yeah, some people try to have a debate with her, and she's just screaming off the top of her head and not letting anybody say anything. So, I mean, why would you let someone into a movement? You know, it just kind of white women are just taking over everything. Just the Black Lives Matters movement, just any movement that there is, you're gonna see, you know, some, I don't know, 30-year-old middle-aged woman driving around her SUV, her warm seats, and complaining about stuff. That's not the Bill Burr, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. It's just topsy-turvy world, man. I don't know. It takes all kinds. You're gonna see everything kind of transpire because people are just whacked from this end to that end of the rainbow. So I don't know. It's again topsy-turvy. I think it's funny, especially these guys. I don't think they're really for the cause, really MGTOW. If they're just gonna be pushed over by, you know, a set of legs and whatever else, just like that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just bizarre. I'm glad you guys are talking about this stuff because I didn't know. So I'll let you guys continue. So I came in the show late. Go ahead.
yeah, we just started, so no need to apologize. Oh, sure. Okay. Hold on just a quick second. Sorry, I had to go take care of something here. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know what to say anymore with all of this going on. Where the other fucking... Oh, conservative women. Yeah, I started to call this out a couple of weeks ago. And she was... I'll bring her up again, and she was already mentioned by Naroki. But Lauren Chen... Having a woman, by and large, get it. They are a very rare breed. Lauren Southern has proven to be a woman you don't turn your back to unless you have a woman breastplate protecting your back. She did a great job of stabbing quite a few people in the back, and the movement in the back as well. At the end of the day, just to reveal, as we saw with Steven Crowder and his wife, that hell hath no fury like that of a woman scorned. Why? Because the female brain is turbocharged on fucking emotions. Now, I realize I'm going to be saying something here that's going to be that will upset a lot of people. And again, I mentioned this to my manager, and she didn't disagree. Women don't know what the fuck they want, depending upon how close they are to either subtly having a case of baby rabies once a month, and then it goes to which is the feast, and then it goes to the famine, which is, sorry, honey, we can't do anything for another 5 to 6, 7 days, whatever, unless she likes it up the ass. Women don't know what the fuck they want. They just don't. They want someone more rugged, as I've hinted at, where she's getting closer to her ovulation. And then she'll want someone more like Tom Hanks. Alpha cocks for beta boxes. The only way to sum that up. And that happens on a monthly basis. Now, with Sinclair and Naroki, I did find apparently a couple of screenshots of her content from OnlyFans or Clams or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Post them up.
I sent it to you in Telegram. I can't really do it on my phone. So, it's just a page. And I have to say, looking at what she was then, there's nothing I would have found appealing. And the fact that she's gone out of her way to scrub her content as much as possible off the internet, this woman is just as guilty as the hoes and the 403s or the 304s on whatever and with Fresh and Fit. Or the ones that are with Rollo and Sartain. And like it or not, women around the world are pretty much all the same, just as men all around the world are the same. So a woman is going to be conservative until, if she's in the conservative sphere, she'll be conservative until that nerve gets touched. And not just touched, but fucking played like a guitar with Eddie Van Halen when he was alive. Just shreds the shit out of it. And when she gets triggered, oh, fuck. As I said, hell hath no fury like that. So, a woman like Ashley Sinclair has to be put into the category of basically, well, it's a woman. She has as much authority on what we need to do for ourselves as males in a declining society, which is purely pussy-centered, gynocentric, whatever you want to call it. Just as I have as much right to try to help out if I had a daughter, I was a single dad, to help figure out what's going on with your period. Can't relate. Cannot relate. Again, Dadvocate, Pearly Things, Sarah Dawn Moore.
I got mixed feelings on Sarah Dawn Moore. She's actually attacked the Manosphere on a couple of occasions.
Well, I think overall she's probably doing more good than harm. I don't watch all of her stuff, but when it does come up, I will look for it. I will watch it when it comes up on my YouTube suggestions or feed, whatever. So, if we play by all of the fucking rules that the women want, what's going to happen is that they're not going to want any of us because we're fucking pushovers. Won't be terribly attractive. And again, the feminists get wet between the legs for the alphas or for the chads, even though they say that they hate them and can't stand them. But when there's a strong enough masculine presence in a woman's life, she'll shut the fuck up and follow suit. My manager, her boyfriend, has said, and she's already inclined to go off grid and whatever else. And he said at some point, and she had mentioned this to me about a month ago, I think it was, yeah, maybe we should go off grid. Oh, that'd be great. Okay, sure. Totally fell in line with it. No, maybe she's dropped subtle hints to him that she might be making him think that he's the one that made the idea. I don't know, because women are notorious for doing that kind of shit as well, too. But yeah. I'm just waiting for topic number 3. I got nothing more to say on this one. Let's move on. You with that awkward moment of silence, ready for you?
Okay, sorry, I was just checking. I have a clip from Milana Vayntrub to start out with, which I'm going to post up right now. Here we go, and it's on YouTube, so it's not gonna fucking freeze up like the one from Ashley St. Clair. Oh, by the way, that wasn't Ashley St. Clair in those pics.
It was or was not?
It wasn't. Hold on.
Comments and milk wagons and all of that. it hurts my feelings. And I know what you guys are trying to do is be funny, and like connect to each other and have your community and like get props from your friends. But it just really bums me out.
The AT&T woman alone, man.
Anyway, yeah, you heard the fucking you heard the white knight at the end. Yeah, okay. So immediately, and I'm actually gonna find a few photos of her, and I'm gonna post them up just so that you have an example of what of the level of hypocrisy that this woman practices. Yeah, here's one. Oh, I think. Oh God, I know you're gonna enjoy this one. Holy mackerel! You want to talk about hypocrisy? This first photo I'm sending is just like holy mackerel. Here's another one.
Wow.
You know,
Boobs.
so yeah, so she gets offended that guys are talking about her mommy milk, her breasts, her chesticles, and
getting reduced. Problem fucking solved right there.
But I mean, but then
cunt.
she defended that. But then she gets all offended. This is like the functional. Like, oh, this third one, you're gonna love this third one.
Jesus Christ.
You're gonna love this third one because she actually puts her arms together so that her. Yeah, this third one. Oh God, yeah, you were gonna love this third one.
Come on, give me something to be fapping over.
No, yeah, she doesn't do fab, that type of material. But yeah, anyway, like, yeah, you're seeing what you're seeing what I'm talking about. She's getting offended because people are talking about her cure, and here's the thing, she's getting offended over, and I think you're gonna love this. She's getting offended over the fact that, you know,
she's got tits that are fuckable.
That she's got
she can titty fuck like the best of them.
Oh, here's one.
Okay.
One. Okay, hold on a second here. Hold on a second. This might just be.
No,
yeah,
don't
that's photoshopped. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'm saving. I'm just gonna save a couple more here, and then I'm gonna send them to you all at the same time. There's one in here. Oh, here it is. Yeah, like this one is really fucking special, and it's like it's no wonder that she shut up about it. Like, you know, like she posts this stuff up, and then she acts all like she has this stuff up at her. Like, this is stuff that's publicly available. And yeah, this is stuff that's publicly available about her. And, you know, and then she gets offended. And then it's like, I mean, look at that second one. Look at that second one.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, you. Okay, what did I already say about her? Yeah, dumb fucking cunt. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, so what you're seeing there is that, I mean, okay, like, you got the AT&T part because
boobs.
Because of your boobs, right? It's like, I mean, like, just stop pretending like you would have seen that same level of success if you were an A-cup. And you know you got it because of your boobs, because, like, her photos, the photos that I show of her, I mean, she's putting them up on display.
Shocker.
In public events, right? Like, she's not like going bare-breasted or anything like that, but I mean, she's putting them up on public display for people to see. And then this is the equivalent of a woman that walks into a gym and wears a really skimpy outfit and then gets offended when guys fucking look. That's literally, there's literally the same thing. And like you saw her getting all sniffly and cry, and of course, right? And of course, there's the usual white knights there, defending this stuff. And I'm like, it's, I mean, this is the other part about it that I think is the reason why you're seeing conservative women trying, because doing this stuff, is because most of the blue pill alphas and the soy boys and the male feminists and whatever, like, they've run, like, I mean, you'll get trolls, like, you will always get trolls, but anybody, like, the one person who, there hasn't really, like, I mean, Destiny was effective for a short period of time until people started figuring out how he was doing it. And the moment, like, you'll know, like, once they started figuring out his technique, right? People started coming up with countermeasures for it, and he was becoming less and less and less effective, right? Sean Fitzgerald, for instance, more than held his own against Destiny when they were debating about Donald Trump. That's actual justice warrior, not social justice warrior. But yeah, acting as though your boobs didn't get you parts, and then getting offended when people comment on them is the absolute. And this is the very thing that the Manosphere has been commenting about, right? And I'm going to take it one step further with Milana Vayntrub to give you an idea of the type of person that we're dealing with here. I went to her Instagram profile and I took a look. Right? I'm not going to post it up, but I took a look. If you looked at the photos over at her Instagram profile, you would think that she might be a lesbian. But if you go over and take a look at her Wikipedia profile, you find out that she's married with a son. But if you looked at her Instagram photo, she takes great pain. I mean, there's the usual, like, film footage, shots and whatever. But she takes great pains to hide the fact that she's got a husband and kid. And if you look at her photos, you would think that maybe she might be the photos that she's got up at Instagram suggest that she might be a lesbian. And of course, right, pronouns in her bio. This is what I was talking about when we were talking about how, and when we get to topic 5, this is just part of the reason. I mean, this is the mentality of the people in the industry, right? This is the mentality of the people in the industry. And they actually think that this shit works. It doesn't. Does Milana have a decent rack? And we were talking about boobs on the last show. In fact, I was talking about it almost annoyingly.
Boobs, boobies. Like,
but I mean, yeah, no,
titties.
I mean,
yeah,
both. Yeah, she does have a nice rack, and she's getting offended because of milk jug emojis, right?
Aww.
And I'm like, and she's like crying online, for fuck's sakes. And I'm like, oh, just like, seriously, Milana, like, just fuck off, okay?
Like I said, get them reduced. Just fucking get them reduced. Oh, you probably don't want to do that because your husband probably tells you that he loves how huge your knockers are. I'm sorry. Fuck off.
And it's just acting as though, your body didn't get you some fucking parts when you're quite clearly putting your body on fucking display in photos, and then getting offended because some guys comment about your boobs is just like, yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry, not sorry. You're getting everything you deserved. You're getting your hypocrisy called out. And this is part of the, like, as more and more, and this is the other part about what I was talking about with topic number 1, is that conservative women have actually started, and women in general are starting to fucking wise up about the fact that there's an actual manosphere out there now, and they are so used to just getting their own way that they're actually doing stuff like what Ashley St. Clair did, which is they're actually demanding that they get a say in what we do, but we didn't get a say in what they did around feminism. So it's like, when every action a man takes is wrong, then the best action is for that man to do as he does, the way he thinks is going to work best for him, and to go and effectively go his own way. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
It's actually, you guys are kind of out of bounds. It's not usually something I would talk about or comment on, but screw it, I'm here. I don't know. I think you're right with that statement. It doesn't matter what that does, he's wrong. So, I mean, the only thing you can do is just keep being yourself, not compromising who you are, and going forward. Yes, stand tall in who you are and your beliefs and all that good stuff. So there's a lot of people out there that want to control you, and those people, they got everything in the world to say. They got every critique and opinion and BS attitude about what you got going on, and you gotta just tell them go F off, go F yourself.
Saying Elon, huh?
Yeah.
Go Elon, go Elon. There we go.
My fight with the NSA, I call them Mr. Hood critics. Got an opinion about everything I'm doing at all freaking times. Hacking my damn devices. I've disabled cameras on everything, but as you saw today, I was actually able to jump in the call with the camera on. That's the only reason why you guys saw black was because I have stickers as a backup. But anyways, you're always gonna have these people just all up in your Kool-Aid. So yeah, take the picture and take the cup and move it on to another table. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know why we'd be discussing them. They're that minute, my mind. But I don't know. This woman, I've never heard of her before. I wouldn't recognize her from anybody else in the crowd.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in here just for a second, V. This is almost like that hockey tape situation we were talking about a couple weeks back, right? Yeah, it's just fucking hockey tape. What? It's just an actress whining about, it's an irrelevant actress whining about boobs. But here's the thing. It's a level of hypocrisy that they have just keep doing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again and never get held accountable, and they keep doing it. And it's like at some point it just stops being about one girl fucking whining about being objectified. And it's like, no, it goes beyond that. It's the fact that they just seem to be arrogantly just assume that they're going to be able to continue to engage in this level of hypocrisy and not get called on it. Continue, V.
Well, she's an asset. She's a product. She's a little marionette. At the end of the day, okay. She's modeled after something that people like. She resembles, she represents something that people like. And unfortunately, it has nothing to do with her intellect. It has nothing to do with her personality. So I don't see what's wrong in the first place to be proud of one's attributes. Well, the good ones, anyways. She's got apparently a nice pair of life-affirming chest.
She's got a nice
flotation devices. She has flotation devices.
Her assets moved from her ass up to her chest.
Yeah. So she should be proud of it. It's like, yeah, you had a nice rack, and I do what I do. So what? That's what a real feminist would have said.
No, you had to respect me. Sorry. No fucks given.
Yeah, no. No. You're out, Rierson. Go ahead.
Oh, fuck. Okay. I've said this before, and it's not something that I talk about. It's not something that, not necessarily that I'm proud of, but this is just how I am. There was a woman, I think this is before I met Naoki, actually.
Pre-95? Continue.
No, it wasn't her. No, it was a different one. It was kind of a friends with benefits, something very much part-time. And she talked about me. So with fucking milk jugs putting on the waterworks, she was like, oh, it's trash talk and locker room talk. Yeah, and you know what? When a woman's getting fucked really good, she's going to be telling her friends all about it. So bullshit. I would love to know how many men she has talked about behind his back to her friends to say, oh my God, my eyes rolled up in the back of my fucking head and I got so wet and tingly and da. Women are worse than men when it comes to talking, I can't say talking trash, but when it comes to when she blows out her back and the guy just did her so well, she has to talk about it. Now, I don't know about the two of you, but I generally keep my experiences to myself. I normally don't talk about my past exploits. The topic between Hiroki and I has been very rare indeed. I've got more stuff going on in my head that's far more important than, guys, there was this one that I had, and she was so fucking wet, and I was everything that she was looking for. No, you don't need to know that shit. I mean, you really honestly don't. I'd apologize for being more private about these things, but I don't feel the need. And I actually had another coworker. The two of us were setting up for a function, and I will never forget this day for the rest of my life. And she said, "Hey, I hear you got a big dick." I'm like, and it's like, what the hell do I do to respond to this?
That's one hell of an opener.
Oh, it was. And it was one of those, and looking back at it now, I just kind of said, well, why don't we take a break and you tell me? Didn't do it, wasn't going to do it. But that could have been my job. The first thought that came through was I can get fired if I'm going to follow through with this. And there was a little Filipina, nice little fucking thing when I was at my first tech support job. She had a Filipino boyfriend, and she was so much more into white guys. And she said, "I'll be happy to cheat. I'm looking to cheat with a white guy." I'm going, oh my god. So, and again, and this was a much bigger company, something that was Western Canadian big as a company. And again, my fight or flight, it was flight, because I'm kind of going, there's so much trouble I can get into with all of this. I'm not going there. And from what I understand, she was the company, but she was a company bicycle. So You can't trust him on a good day. You can't trust him on a bad day. And the way that she has dressed in the past, especially, again, that second picture that you put up there, Naruki, she knows exactly what she's doing. And she's fucking crying wolf. She's playing the victim because she doesn't want to be reminded of maybe how much of a fucking skanky bitch and heat that she was at that point in time, looking for some guy to just rip. Might as well just rip the damn thing open. Let's see what you got, and let me just motorboard on them.
Oh, well, here's the thing, right, about this, and I mean, I don't want to turn this into a slam women thing, but I mean, if they put, and this is stuff direct from the Manosphere, you know, if they put them up on display like that, that usually mean, again, not my words. They know what they're doing. They're usually, and this comes from Return of Kings, which is generally not a very particularly popular site, even inside the Manosphere. But I mean, signs that she's a slut, and there's like 2 or 3 of them that she has displayed here. One, she puts. There's an actual article on Return of Kings, 7 signs that she's a slut, and she's got 2 of them. She puts her boobs up on display, and she's got big ones, and she's got the big fucking hoopy fucking earrings.
Really? Okay.
You know,
okay.
I've
never heard of that before, but okay.
You've never heard of bigger the hoop, the bigger the hoe?
Nope, but I have.
Oh yeah.
You've never heard of that one? Go over to. I noticed this once it got pointed out to me. Go over and look at a few of the. Go over to Pornhub or something like that, and take a look at the adult content, and you'll see a hugely disproportionate number of those porn stars have got those big, massive fucking hoopy earrings on.
Okay, so what's the name of that article?
Return of King, 7 signs that she's a slut. I think it's 7 signs that she's a slut. You know, again, right, I don't want to turn this into a slam women thing, but she's displaying a lot of the traits. And it's like, yeah, okay, women get pissed that they're called this, but I mean, it's sort of like you're putting them up on display. Okay, that's, I mean, in the Manosphere, it doesn't matter whether you're Red Pill, MGTOW, or MRA. It's like, if you're putting them up on display like that, especially in a public setting.
24 signs.
It's 24 signs. Okay. You might want to put that article up.
If I can actually get there, because apparently it's not available.
Return of Kings?
Return of Kings might be down.
Just take a look here. I don't think it's. Last time I went over there, it was not down.
I can't seem to get there.
Well, can I ask? 24 signs that she's a slut. How many signs do you need before you walk away?
Honestly, hey, that's a fair question.
I really want to know.
Oh wow! It does not appear to be. Okay, there is Return of Kings.
Okay, I got Return of Kings archive.
That might be it. 7. returnofkings.com. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Yeah, Return of Kings archive. 7 signs that she's a slut. There's some really interesting. There's some really interesting stuff on there. But anyway, yeah. Before we get any further here, I did finally manage to get the video. What?
Oh, fuck. Well, first off, it comes up to 24 signs she's a slut, and then 26 more signs she's a slut. Wow. But the same guy. Tuthmosis Sonofra, whoever the hell that is. Wow.
Okay, so yeah, here we go. I've got the Ashley St. Clair video downloaded onto my phone. So here we go again, and then we'll get on to the next topic. The hell?
On the right, women are fed up with. On this Manosphere shopping side of things, women are relatively repulsed by this. And these are women who most of you would die to have pregnant and barefoot in your kitchen. And they want nothing to do with you. Because for whatever reason, this discourse has been relatively one-sided about women and women's body counts and women's behavior without any regard for the individuals on the other side of those interactions. And I'm the mother of a young boy, and I vehemently disagree with the rhetoric that all men are evil and, you know, the feminist rhetoric, particularly in 2016, 2017. But there should be a discussion, an honest discussion about both sides of the sexual revolution and what's happened. And it's not happening. For whatever reason, it is right-wing porn to demean women. And there's going to be people who hate this, but I'm telling you how it is before you get slapped in the face in 5 years and wonder why none of these women want to settle down, because so many of them are repulsed by what's happening. They are repulsed by the rhetoric happening. They are repulsed that there's so much emphasis on the behavior of women, while men can name more people on their fantasy leagues than they can name members of the school boards in which their children go to school. And so, you know, I hope we can get there. And maybe some of this vitriolic rhetoric is the stepping stone, is a silver lining. It opens the door to some of these more honest discussions. But what's happening now, I'm going to tell you, women are not happy, and you can say whatever, you don't care. Women, not repeal the 19th, women shouldn't speak anyways.
So, yeah, just to see if I can unmute. The hell, now I can't can you unmute yourself on your end there, Steve? Sorry, Steve, you were coming through. Your breathing was coming through, like really loudly for whatever reason. Oh, okay, good. So there you hear Ashley St. Clair's rant. Yeah. I didn't expect that women were going to just absolutely spur up, but I'm just gonna throw in a couple of other little caveats here that we might want to consider, not necessarily about Milana Vayntrub, but about conservative women starting on this spiel. There's been rumors floating around for a few months now that the Biden administration might be so desperate that they would actually go out and start a war with either Russia, China, or both in order to distract from the internal pressures that are happening inside their own country. In fact, this is an age-old tactic that's been used multiple times. They are going to need males to sign up to fight. The overwhelming, I'm going to guess 95, unless they're in the armed forces already, 95 to 99% of the men that are in the Manosphere are not going to sign up. If they try to use, and you know, they're going through the Rolodex right now, and their first thing that they're going to try to do, this is something that they tried back in World War I, is they're going to try to white feather men, right, into going to war. That is not going to work, because if they try to white feather guys into signing up to go and fight, there's going to be there is going to be a fully active manosphere that's going to be actively opposing. So if there's a lot of these women going around posting up these white feathers on guys, you know, it's not going to end well for them this time. Like, it's not going to end well. And the only other option they've got beyond that are press gangs, or the functioning equivalent of hauling men off the street and forcing them into the front lines. That might work in the Ukraine where not every second person has a gun. But if you try that in North America, even in Canada or Mexico, the individuals that are doing this are going to get shot full of lead faster than you can spell Idi Amin. You know, it's not going to go well for them. But I'm thinking the tinfoil hat part of my personality is suggesting that this might not be a coincidence. Does anybody else have anything more to say before we move on to the next topic?
Nope, let's go. Let's do it.
All right. So this next one, and we can see this one. I can see where this one was going right from the start. And I'm just when I saw this, there was just a couple of there's just absolute complete. Like Kathleen Kennedy has completely fucking drank the fucking Kool-Aid. Her ego is so huge that she's going to she made this woman the director just to say fuck you to the fandom, or she's stunned stupid. It's gotta be one of those three. There's no way. I mean, even the bosses over at Disney have finally had to throw in the towel and admit this. And you're starting to see them make adjustments on it. Like, there's no way now, after what happened last year, that they can claim that wokeness is a good thing for the movie industry. Yes, you will get an outlier like Barbie. And this is something that, again, the mainstream media and the Hollywood press did not cover this. Part of the reason why Barbie did so well is because the Barbie movie ended up being accidentally based. Something else that a lot of people don't realize in that Barbie movie is that in the end, Barbie chose to take the red pill. She chose to return to reality. She chose not to stay in Barbie land. That is something that a lot of people don't realize about that particular movie. I'm going to point something out here because this has been a clip that's been going around for a little bit. The clip of this new director claiming that she wants to make men uncomfortable. That is tied into a documentary that got released in India involving honor killings. So I have seen that clip being taken out of context, but there is absolutely no question. I mean, that line about having a woman shape the Star Wars universe. I mean, have I been off on a distant planet or under a rock here, but haven't women led most of the recent Star Wars movies except for Solo? Like, have I been
besides Kathleen Kennedy being at the helm and
the lead character?
Let's not go there. Well, let's see, between Rey and Stardust, fucking Jyn Erso from fucking Rogue One, and then if it isn't that, it's Ahsoka, and if it isn't going to be that, it's going to be little Leia and fucking Obi-Wan, which are useless, or you've got Boba Fett's sidekick, which is a hard-ass female. So I don't know.
Okay, well, Gina Carano worked in that movie, yeah.
Yeah, Gina Carano did work in that movie. She was a fan favorite. She was also conservative and didn't align with Kathleen's grotesque expectations, or didn't toe the line. So,
yeah, that's true.
She doesn't count.
The issue here is that, I mean, it's like saying something like that again is like, I mean, they're just assuming you're stupid. They've completely bought the Kool-Aid. Or there's a third possibility here. Is that the possibility is that they're deliberately trying to rile up the base again to generate publicity? I have not.
Cue up J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man movie. Typical insert.
But I mean, God. It's like if they're attempting to use that as a trope to generate publicity, it's not one that's going to work for them, right? Like I mean, they did everything except go, well, man, this movie isn't for you. And here's the thing about it is like if they had done that, they would have pulled the birds of prey excuse where they said this men this movie isn't for you, and then when the men don't go and see the movie, they blame the men for the movie bombing. Well, you said that there were yeah. There is really only one possibility for the Star Wars universe at this point, and that is that they get those people on the board of Disney in the next 6 months. That those individuals who are going to be trying to buying up stock in Disney, that those guys get seats on the board, so that, and because I mean it's like, and we've done, and Brierson has done this time and time again, like who owns what percentage of what company, right? Every time we look, for instance, the one with Delta, oh my God, like that completely explained why Delta was doing what it was doing, right? What they're going to have to do with these corporate boards is that people are going to have to start buying, they're going to have to organize, and they're going to have to start buying up enough percentages of these companies so that there's a voice on these boards. So when these idiots from BlackRock, Vanguard, and Fleet Street make these stunned, stupid recommendations to start pushing their agenda, that there's somebody on that board that's pushing back. That's legitimately the only way I'm going to see this word. That's the only way I'm going to see it working. Because, when we did the end of the year episode, and that was 27, because there was one right at the end of the year, Red Hat, right, that are doing this. And James O'Keefe is mentioning that, I mean, he's literally getting swamped with requests around DEI and about racial exclusion and all of that stuff. And it just to the point where he's getting overwhelmed, that this is not just an outlier anymore. Like, this is a deliberate and intentional thing. Kathleen Kennedy is getting her marching. I mean, well, first of all, Kathleen Kennedy, I'm starting to think Kathleen Kennedy is just absolutely fucking insane. And she always was insane. But I mean, it's like, to look at what happened in 2023 and to just go on and do more of it, it's either, well, it's a form of insanity. You're just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, expecting different results, right? And you're not going to get a different result. Too many people know now, the Manosphere and all of the critics, all of the nerd critics on YouTube and all of these other video platforms are just going at Disney hard, and YouTube is losing its ability to run block on all of this stuff, and that Elon Musk is not going to run block on Twitter for them, which is why they left, because they were just getting absolutely ratioed, which is why Disney left, because they're getting, and CBC, because they were just getting absolutely ratioed to fucking death on those platforms. Why would you go and, especially a woman that has never directed a movie before? Now, I'm not super, well, we have to have a woman of color. And well, first of all, technically speaking, Indians are considered Caucasian, so you're not actually hiring a woman of color. That's the part that really got me. Somebody pointed out that, well, in North America, Indians aren't considered white. Well, I don't really give a shit whether Indians are considered white in North America. The bottom fucking line is that they're considered fucking Caucasian, right? In terms of their ethnicity. Yeah. Oh, well, I look at my skin and I'm seeing it's pretty brown. Well, it's not just the brown skin. It's face structure, it's genotype, it's all of that other stuff. People, the majority of the people in the Middle East, although you wouldn't think of them as being Caucasian, they're actually Caucasian. That also comes as a bit of a shock to some people in the Middle East. Same thing with Hispanics. Hispanics are considered Caucasian unless they have a certain amount of Native American blood in them. So, I mean, like, ignorance of the facts, ignorance of the fan base, being either so egotistical, so deluded, or just so arrogant as to think that, and I'm betting a lot of this is coming from the fact is like, oh, and this is something that I mentioned back when I did the Barbie thing. It's the Barbie movie, when we covered the Barbie movie, was that somebody was going to point to the Barbie movie and go, yeah, well, you see, get woke, go broke isn't a thing. Look at the Barbie movie. Right? And they would be right. Barbie was that one rare movie that got through. Now, you want to talk about the other several done, like actually now tens of movies that have not done, that were also woke and went broke. Like, yeah, this is not going to go well for them. We've already seen what's happened with Marvel. It is going, I mean, again, right, and this is the discussion that we had around Star Wars, and there were these annoying bots who came in and went, oh, well, the last Star Wars movie made money. And it's like, yeah, and you might be able to use that as an excuse this time, but it is only a matter of time, given what's going on, that there's going to be another Star Wars movie that doesn't make money. And it's very clear that, Kathleen Kennedy, and oh, wait, there is one other very slim possibility here. Kathleen Kennedy knows that her contract is almost up. She knows that she's not going to be brought back. So if she can't have it, nobody else can. She might be just trying to destroy, because she's got her money. She's got her millions. She could go back and retire and start herself a nice little podcast or a nice little production company and not have to worry about it, right? That she might be intentionally trying to destroy the Star Wars franchise on purpose. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah, well, don't you think it's a possibility this new director is just being set up for the fall? Because the movie's going to be crap anyways, right? Why not just pin Scapegoat on along with it, right?
Let me add something.
Packaged up and it makes money, send it out the door, right?
Let me add something to that, V. What about the possibility that this is for her to fail upwards? This is not the first time.
Fail upwards. Yes, that also. That's. I hate to say it, but that's where a lot of these feminists and activists, these social justice warriors, that's the way they're coming up, right? They're a spectacle. And for some reason, they're going to be a footnote in history. For someone in the establishment to use for their own nefarious purpose. It's being pawns. These people think that they're just. Listen, I don't know, but I also see that someone just said, well, they just want to destroy Star Wars. I mean, if I were a radical feminist, lesbian even, I would definitely like to destroy something that men like. Take something away from them. If I were one of them, yes, Star Wars is a great thing to destroy. Nice target. So, I mean, as boys, when we're out, with our toy guns, playing cops, robbers, and all that stuff, you just got so annoyed with the girls with their little Barbies and their little houses. You come on, each and every one of us is one to stomp one or tear one's head off at some point as a child. So it's sort of the same thing, but these are adults. And they're just gonna play with this intellectual property. They're gonna get all the money they can out of it, grind it up, and put it in the trash. And it's sad because, I mean, I remember as a kid, my dad first actually all three movies showed me Star Wars back to back. I was blown away. It was like it was only second best to the Evil Dead series. I loved it when my dad showed me that stuff too when I was a kid. But it was phenomenal. It's something that you just marveled at. The generation now, I guess Gen Z, they're gonna look at Star Wars, this new stuff coming out, just like it's just overproduced, just usual crap. Just another 2 hours for something to play in the background while they do whatever Gen Z people do. That's all it's going to be. Background noise. And it's sad, really. It's so sad. I hate to see it come to this, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. I don't even consider the new movies canon, anyways. I like Legends, Star Wars Legends, story arcs. I mean, if they really wanted to do this right, all they had to do was contact any of the many Star Wars writers out there. There's so many books, good books, great stories. Not canon, but excellent stories. Star Wars is not a hard thing to do if it's, writing is your profession. You're going to have someone like whoever this new director is, totally butcher it. And it's just up the ante, right? It's just up in the ante. We complain and complain more and more as these movies come out, and it's almost like Disney's saying, like, "Ooh, yeah, keep complaining." It's like some sadomasochistic stuff right here. Yeah, ooh, yeah, we're gonna destroy this. Oh, we're gonna hurt ourselves over this. Oh, yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's madness in any direction that you look at it from a Hollywood entertainment perspective. So I don't know. Again, just as an actual true fan, a nerd, it really doesn't faze me because, again, Legacy had the best stories, best characters, hands down. Anyways, go ahead, Pearson. I'm done ranting.
Yeah, no, that's fine. The more that I've been delving into this, even expressing opinions to a friend through email, it was brought up back in 2015 that good old Darlene herself had said that she wants to have a woman direct a Star Wars movie. So that is not going to be any sort of a surprise. She'd, of course, have to get some men to do the heavy lifting to get the sequels, in theory, at the time, to get that moving and going and to have something to present for the fan base. But then after that, it should almost feel like atypical feminist mentality. Get the men to do the heavy work, and then we'll come in and we'll make it better. So The other thing that gets me about all of this is that this woman has been a keynote speaker on at least 2 occasions with the World Economic Forum. You know, you will own nothing, you will be happy. You know, those fucking nuts with that fucking Nazi. So, but it's not just Kathleen Kennedy that's the problem with all of this. At some point, she'd have to pitch this idea to Iger. And right now, Iger is in the fight of his life for his legacy. And he's pushing everything that he can possibly throw up in front of Nelson Peltz to stop him from coming in and basically starting to push his weight around and to take over in a good way. So I want to say that this is solely on Kathleen Kennedy's ass, but it's only within Star Wars. But ultimately, something like this will have to get greenlit by Iger, who has handpicked his board of directors who know nothing of the entertainment industry. Now, for the record, I've said this before, I've had no problems with well-written female characters. We've brought this up time and time again, but I'll bring them up again. Ripley from Aliens, you got Sarah Connor from The Terminator, and I don't remember really any other action films with the lead female character in it. But they were well written. There was a genuine struggle. And, I mean, especially with Terminator, this woman's running for her life. She's realizing, oh shit, there's one woman called Sarah Connor was killed, and another one? Oh shit, I'm going to be next, or it's coming after me. This person's coming after me. So it is an initial flight and then fight. So she turns into something that she wasn't before. And I kind of thought she looked kind of sexy in the second Terminator movie. And no, the Terminator was more human than she was when it came down to it. But she knows what was going on. She knows what was going to happen. And she was the crazy one. Now, I haven't seen the third movie, haven't seen anything else after all of that, and I'm not in any rush. Don't care. Don't need to. So, I don't have a problem with a woman being a director of Star Wars if she fucking knows her shit. What the fuck is that comedian? That Kiwi, Tatiki Kawaya, or whatever the fuck his name is. I don't remember. He absolutely made a complete mockery of Thor. And being somewhat of a Western Norse pagan in training, shall we say. Would I watch any of his stuff ever again? Would I watch Thor Ragnarok again? No, I wouldn't. I didn't see it. Lord Thor Love and Thunder. Fuck. And then with him fucking giving Mjolnir to Natalie Portman, is like, dude, that's not it. Like, that is not what the whole thing's all about. I mean, even in the Marvel comics, Hel was the actual child of Loki, but we can't really do that because it's not. It doesn't have the screenplay of what I want. And he basically admitted he had no idea what he was doing. He wasn't really a fan of the whole thing, and nor is this fucking Pakistani woman. Well, Star Wars is about this, and this, and this. No, you dumb fucking cunt. It's all about a father going into deep darkness, committing horrible, heinous acts, becoming the right hand of the oppressive government across the galaxy. And then his son that he didn't know about comes out from nowhere, gets his attention, they fight each other, he retreats, comes back, And while he defeats the evil incarnation of his father, he redeems his dad. That's what Star Wars is all about. So this whole thing that you think you can make something bigger and better, and it's got a set of pussy lips to it. That's not, no, that is Rey, that no one really wants to see. No one cares to see it. And again, for the fans, where did we lose our shit over in a good way? It's when Skywalker came in to save the day because the the women and the Mandalorian were backed into a corner with those death bots, those death troopers. Not death troopers. Whatever the fuck they were. Anyway. And that's what we have been waiting for. Well, that shit got squashed pretty damn fucking fast. Just like Gina Carano was kicked out. Everything with Luke was pushed off to the side. And it didn't make any sense, but this is female feminist logic. And that's what all of this is. Now, Disney is in a world of hurt right now because the backlash is, yes, it is taken out of context with what she's been saying. I hated to agree with the critical drinker when he brought this up. The video that I was watching last night about him was like, fuck, he's not wrong. But at the end of the day, what the hell do you think an activist director, female director, is going to be doing? She's going to be putting in her shit about females are better than males, or more female empowerment, or men are bad, or fucking whatever else. So whatever there may have been for the possibility of this movie actually not tank, this will probably tank worse than. What is the worst? What's the worst superhero movie right now? That's gone out. Is it Aquaman, or was it the Marvels? Rookie.
Sorry, could you repeat that question?
Of the movies, of the last two superhero movies that came out, the Marvels and, well, there was the Flash, there was the Marvels, and that there was Aquaman 2.
Yeah, Aquaman and the Marvels. Aquaman, oh, it's just a little bit of a side note. And something I realized because I was watching some Warhammer 40K content this morning. The bad guys in Aquaman, like the city that they live in. If you ever see the movie, if either of you ever see the movie, they bear a very strong resemblance to the Necrons in Warhammer 40K.
Okay.
Especially the way their city is themed. Just thought I would point that out. Even the name that they use is similar to the one that's used for the Necrons. The city has a kind of like glowing green theme to it, which is what the Necrons use. Yeah, I saw that today. It was sort of like, oh yeah, all right. So,
well, maybe that's kind of a signal that this is kind of what this is what maybe you can expect to see. I don't really know, but like between the Marvels and Aquaman 2, and it's probably going to be the Marvels is going to be the worst performing period. They might be trying to go with the adage of, well, even bad press is good press. This is not good press. This is a disastrous press. And there might actually be more unification now within the fan base of Star Wars that this is not supposed to happen. Or, guys, she don't like you. What do you think the chances are that this is going to be a male-friendly film? Probably non-existent. Probably. So, but yeah, some Einstein, probably named Darkleen, and Iger are the ones that ultimately they're the ones that are ultimately responsible for all of this. So, again, it's just giving me more reason to not even buy any Star Wars movie releases anymore, because it's money that's going to Disney. Like, that's how, and I don't think I'm the only one, but I think that's how tapped out the fan base is going to be at some point, if it isn't they're already kind of going, any more money to Disney? No, fuck them. Oh, the other thing as well, too, is that Here's the irony: is that Disney, before purchasing Star Wars and Marvel, it was more or less a girls' movie company. You got all your little princess stories. You had Pinocchio, you had The Wizard's Apprentice, but by and large, and Peter Pan. But by and large, there was really not much content that was for boys. And now they're trying to change male-orientated content into that for which is female. So I would love to see a Barbie movie changed over to have the whole thing about being all about Ken, and see how well that goes over within the bitch community. And that's all I'm going to say.
Okay, as you have discovered, the Babylon Bee has sentenced you to the 8th circle of hell, Steve. If you go and read the comments,
I'm not to the 9th circle of hell?
No, you're only the 8th.
Fuck, I'm not doing a good enough job. Shit. Oh well.
The punishment, their response on the Babylon Bee is punishment there may not be a fire hot enough for what he deserves. Congratulations, you're going to hell. Anyway, let's continue on with the. Let's continue on. I can see Tank all the way on this one, and it's. Wow. I'm done on this one. But let's get into the next one here. As you saw from the post, the Babylon Bee blew it open right away. Claudine Gay was held at gunpoint by time-traveling KKK members and forced her to plagiarize her works. And then those icky time-traveling white supremacist KKKs went home. And, of course, it got caught later on, and she was forced to resign. What can I say about the situation? Harvard is supposed to be is I think you could probably make a fairly good point about it being the biggest, most prestigious university on the planet. I take one look at Claudine Gay and I'm like, oh yeah, diversity hire. I hate saying that, but that's exactly what she looks like, is a diversity hire. There was already an issue with her apparently plagiarizing stuff before she even became the president. The issue, and here's the thing, right? She's trying to claim that it's white supremacist, but here is the thing: we covered this. She knowingly looked the other way, as there was, and this is and I said this at the time, and I'm going to say that again. If you go around saying "kill the blank," it doesn't matter if it's blacks, Jews, natives, left-handed Inuit war amputees, people named Chris, whatever. That is a call to action. That is a violation of the First Amendment, and it is a criminal offense. There is no depends on the context on something like that. I mean, unless of course you're like doing it in this particular country where you're trying to use it as a reference point, right? The whole issue is that, I mean, the context was that somebody was actually saying this, right? And it's like the context issue really falls apart. And of course, what ended up happening is that, and this should come as no surprise, and because there's a large amount of financial resources within the Jewish community, is that Jews started pulling out financial resources. And this is what happened with the University of Pennsylvania as well, with the dean there. I don't know how the one in MIT is doing. I'm having to imagine she's probably also facing a fair amount of heat. But yeah, that is a violation, and she chose to do nothing. Now, I am not. I mean, I've been accused of maybe being a little bit too soft on the Jews because, I mean, again, right, my issue is that, I mean, it's not the Jews. It's a section of the greater Jewish community, aka George Soros and whatever, and the ones that have bought into the I believe it's called Zionism that are the ones, but I mean it's sort of like, they're the ones that and Henry Kissinger, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, they're the ones that are giving Jews everywhere a bad name, right? But yes, this does fall specifically on Trump, but this is something that's been going on in the U.S. for a while. The Jews have been getting favorable press coverage in North America for a while. They have been protected from facing criticism. In fact, the papers in Israel are a lot more critical of their government than the papers here in North America about this, right? And so some of the blowback you're seeing is, dare I say it, somewhat deserved. Now, does that mean that I'm going to look the other way as the Palestinian community tries to say that even combatants somehow fall into the category of innocent victims? Am I going to ignore the fact that there were several hundred women that got raped and several thousand people of Jewish persuasion that got killed on October 7th? No, I'm not going to do that either, right? Do I think there's a possibility that it was planned? Yeah, I do. The issue here is that Claudine Gay, what this did is that it tore open the bandage and it exposed everybody. And then people, of course, the plagiarism discussion before was kind of sedated, but what this did is it blew it wide open, right? And people started looking. And of course, she ended up having to resign. And of course, she plays the black, whoa, I am a victim of white supremacy, and so on and so on. It's like, no, and it's like a bunch of white supremacists, conservatives, whatever, ran me out. Well, here's the thing about that. I hate to break it to you, but the Jews overwhelmingly voted for the Democrat Party back in 2020. So no, Claudine, it is not the conservatives that ran you out. It's, you weren't ran out because you were a black woman, because, I mean, Harvard University at this point Harvard University literally lost a Supreme Court case just a few months back because they were literally engaging in discriminatory race quotas against white people, which I think you probably had a part in. So, I mean, like, the victim playing is just absolutely, I mean, I'm just gobsmacked about this. I mean, again, right, and I'll say, well, how is it that you could be gobsmacked? I mean, it's like, you knew this was going to happen. Yes, I knew this was going to happen. And the day that I sort of like look at something like that and go, yeah, fuck, whatever, right? And stop not being like outraged or disappointed or have some type of an emotional reaction to stuff like this, that's the day I stopped doing this podcast. Claudine Gay got caught with her fingers in the cookie jar. She chose to look the other way on something that was going to get her in trouble. A bunch of financial backers, and there have been a substantial number of people of the Jewish persuasion that have gone through Harvard and give that university financial backing, got pissed and pulled their funding. She then said something that, in effect, tried to blame people that weren't responsible, and she tried to play the race card, which is something that also did not happen in this case. Although, I'm going to have to walk back on that one because the Babylon Bee clearly revealed that there were time traveling KKK Klansmen that came back in time, held her at gunpoint, and forced her to plagiarize her work. So she quite clearly is innocent on that last charge. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if I have anything to add to this one. I don't know. I will say, actually, I did get into a big fight with someone over this kind of issue here. So basically, someone was doing hate speech about Jews and trying to distance myself from this individual. Yet, I have other constituents and other associates that want to bring him into the fold, which is absolutely terrible. Now, I do support people for free speech and them having their opinions, but when you have someone with opinions like that and your group are trying to do something, and it's counterintuitive. It's it doesn't work for the greater good. So, I got the whole rant of about Jews from a person, surprisingly, and it's like, no, I understand. I understand Jews have done a lot of despicable stuff, but when it comes between Zionist and, let's say, white supremacist, I'm always going to choose the Zionist. I'm always going to choose Jews. I mean, if it weren't for Jews going into Hollywood, black people would never had any movie roles above being a servant or a slave. Back in those times, just nobody advocating for real acting roles for minorities, especially blacks in movies. Not until Jews came. So, I mean, between you talk to white supremacists. Oh yeah, well, how are you dealing with your issue? Oh, we want them exterminated, enslaved, or exiled somewhere. You deal with extreme Zionist Jew, and it's economics. Let's haggle. Let's play. A Jew will give me a job, but a white supremacist will about to just kill me. So you just gotta look at things the way they really are. I know the white supremacists, the only reason why they're so angry is because they no longer have the monopoly on power and corruption. You can say whatever you want about Jews, them being corrupt, this and that, but who were their predecessors? Were there any better examples of people to be in banking and government and whatever institutions? Yeah, I don't know. I may be off subject here, off topic, but people just need to get over it. It's everybody's got to get in where they fit in. So talking about discrimination this, discrimination that, you as a person, doesn't matter color, you have the ability So get yours, despite what anybody else says. So you can dismiss whoever, you can go around whoever, you can knock whoever out their chair, but you can still get yours. And that's what I've done all my life. I don't let anybody make my world. I make my world. To say that someone's discriminating against me is me admitting that they have the keys to what I want. I will never admit that. I got the keys. That's the attitude that I have. I would think it's common damn sense, but you know, me personally, I don't like being in the victim's position. I'm not gonna try to victim unless there's a major issue, and I'm gonna be on the offensive about that issue. I refuse to be in the victim circumstance. Anyways, go ahead, Rivers.
So an Ivy League dean, head of school, whatever, has been caught copying without proper, without giving credit where credit is due. Well, you'll have to pardon me for not being, to be honest with you, I don't really give a shit about this one. But what I think this is a symptom of is the decline of academia. I mean, right now it's overwhelmingly, well, university level in the US anyway, it's overwhelmingly female, which is contributing to this problem with the dating scene within the manosphere, because women expect men to be more than they are, and they've already got high standards that's gotten even higher. So if you can't say society collapse, I don't know what will. But given that it is now, or seems to be, predominantly Democrat, or shall we say, let's call it maybe for what it is, communist indoctrination, almost. Wouldn't take much more for it to go that way, because they're really starting to have the youth coming in and going out as being socialists at best. The world of academia is in a state of, as I see it, dishonesty. And I don't know how long this woman got away with plagiarizing her stuff, and I'll be honest, I don't really care. But if she got to her position because she didn't give credit where credit was due, I shudder at the thought of all of the professors, everyone that has graduated with a master's minimum, and plagiarizing was looked the other way. Now, I wouldn't know this woman. She came up and bit me in the ass, and I don't want to know. If her brain is that polluted, I shudder at the thought of what's been in her mouth or what's been in her twat. Once again, folks, no fucks given. She came across as the topic that we had previously as being dishonest, and proof is more or less now in the pudding. Now, is this going to make any sort of difference? Will there be any sort of reform? Will academia clean its act up? Probably not. I wish it would. I would like to know that it could, because it's more than capable of. But that's going to be very inconvenient, to say the least. Because they'll have to be accountable. And given people's overall reluctance to be responsible, to be accountable for their actions, I don't see any real changes happening with any of this. I would love to. I really would love to see it happen, but I don't. And this is definitely going to be in the category of, well, pardon me for not being surprised, but. Well, pardon me for not being surprised, but. So, honestly, this really isn't the case. This really goes into the category of whatever. The news has been incredibly dishonest. Government has been notoriously dishonest. I have some faith a little bit within the military, but, well, I'll trust the military more than I will trust a politician, which is better. Which the only occupation that's more trustworthy than a politician, which is at the extreme low end. Next thing up would be a used car salesman. So, just have to wait and see how. We'll have to wait and see how broke society has to become for academia to rise like the phoenix and to be better than what it was before. So, okay, I don't have anything more on this one.
I thought you were going to say Julfi.
No,
Chipotle.
Keep talking.
Hey, Chipotle.
Chipotle.
On the boobs.
boobs. Oh, look, there goes our monetization.
What monetization?
Now I'm gonna have to look for pictures of big
boobs
boobs and post them up just to be, because I'm that kind of a guy. Anyway, let's go on with the next topic. Oh, this one. Given what we were talking about at the start of around Kathleen Kennedy and what she is trying to do, this one is just, I mean, there's no, like, for instance, there's no way that Kathleen Kennedy and the people over at Disney and Lucasfilms do not know about this. Like, none. It's, keep in mind, in particular, the company that Kathleen Kennedy works for, even though Star Wars didn't come up with anything, at least in the movie screen this year. But, I mean, their TV stuff didn't do that particularly well. I mean, the one thing they did have going for them, they ended up screwing up. It's become so bad now that even Dave Filoni is starting to get smeared over it. Right?
Don't get me started on this one. Fuck.
Like even well, I mean, you're gonna get you might just get a chance to do it anyway. Even David, it's gone on for so long that even David Filoni is starting to get smeared over it, right? And and people are starting to notice that Filoni is not coming through, and it's like, and that is just Disney. That doesn't include the fact that Warner Brothers also had a very, very bad year. The thing that happened with Aquaman, I think, was almost unavoidable. But I mean, bottom line is that James Gunn, who posted up all those wonderful comments about little kids a few years earlier, they chose him to do the DC superhero universe, right? James Gunn would not. I mean, it was very, very, very obvious that they could not release Flash. I mean, I saw it. I thought Ezra Miller did an okay job in it, but I mean, it was fucking Ezra Miller. Like, it was very, I mean, that stuff that he got caught up in, that had very strong pedo fucking vibes about it, right? And the fact that James Gunn didn't do anything, didn't even lift so much as a pinky finger to stop it, it was duly noted. I mean, the secret that came out around the fact that it was just two individuals on the board, that Which tells me that right away. I mean, I'm kind of curious to see who owns what stock on the warrant on the board. But the two key people on the board decided to keep Amber Heard, even though it had been it was even clear even after the lawsuit in Britain was over that she had to go, and they could have gotten rid of her at that point and had her not do damage to the Aquaman show, because the Aquaman show was not the trial in Virginia had not started, and I don't even think they'd even started shooting Aquaman at that point, right? But nope, they doubled down, and like, even though, and it became very clear because the evidence is out there that Amber Heard was seen with Heard basically saying, I could do whatever the hell I want to you, and I'm a woman, and nobody's going to believe you. Well, guess what, Amber Heard? Somebody did believe Johnny Depp. In fact, a jury of your peers found Johnny Depp, and it didn't go well. But I mean, there were a couple of exceptions this year, Top Gun being one of them, Mario Brothers being another. One of the most financially successful movie, though, this year was the Barbie movie. And I said this at the end of the year, at the start of the year show. I'm going to say it again. Barbie is going to get a couple of Oscars at the Oscars ceremony this year. I would love nothing better than to see Barbie win Movie of the Year. Why would I want to have Barbie? But I'm a member of the Manosphere. Why do I want Barbie to win Movie of the Year? Well, because one, it does actually kind of deserve it. But the other one is that, it will absolutely, and this is the thing, the absolute arrogance and hubris and indoctrination. Hollywood has quite clearly reached the point where they got their clear demonstration this year that Get Woke, Go Broke is an actual real thing, that DEI doesn't work. People are getting sick of seeing your movies. I've talked to a few people in Hollywood. A lot of the people who are really creative, and they're finding other places to do it, right? Oh, well, I'll just go to YouTube. Well, no, we'll just get YouTube to block your content. Well, guess what? YouTube's not the only game in town anymore. So, to no one's surprise, the revenues were down significantly this year. And one other thing about the Barbie movie. If it wins Movie of the Year, it will be absolute, complete, total proof for the Manosphere that society, it will probably be the biggest boost that the Manosphere has ever gotten if it wins Movie of the Year. But going back to it all, it's sort of like, and this is something else that happened, is there are people, because I was like literally looking at Twitter as we were going through the last topic, and there are still people now going on about fucking masks and COVID and trying to drum up hysteria about COVID on Twitter right now, non-fucking stop. They're getting called out, and you're seeing, and it's a deliberate, it's being done deliberately. They're trying to scare people into it. It's not a coincidence that this Twitter campaign started right around the same time that that Pfizer released the new fifth vaccine that we have to take, or well, some people have to take. I haven't received even so much as one vaccine, and I don't think Rearson has. You haven't either. Have either of you guys taken any of the vaccines?
Well, of course not.
Okay, that means there's not a single vaccine shot among any of us then. I had to ask the obvious for obvious reasons too, by the way. And it's, they've done this to themselves. It's going, and I mean, if it's one thing, I brought COVID up for a reason. If there's one real true benefit that COVID did is that it accelerated the decline of Hollywood much faster than it. I mean, I'm figuring they took away about COVID probably took away about 5 years of the wokesters doing damage to the Hollywood system. Because it was sort of like what would have happened is that there would have been a very slow, gradual decline. Except, of course, what happened is that people got COVID. So and again, if you see it on Twitter and you see it in real life, there are people who have like literally never psychologically recovered. I see people now. I see and I think we've all seen it. We see more people walking around with masks now, even though COVID's no longer a thing, than I ever did before, right? Like I'm seeing, and I saw this because I actually decided to walk. I walked to this one place, and there's this one section along this boulevard where there's a blank, where there's nothing, there's no construction, there's no buildings, there's just a big grass field that's been fenced off, except the very edges. And I'm walking past this section of this area on the way to work, and there's like little homeless encampments along this road now, right? That weren't there in 2019. And how do I know this? Because I walked past this very section in 2019 and they weren't there. So things have gotten really bad, and there's not a lot of money going around. And so they don't have, they've created gaps which are being exploited. And the mainstream media in Silicon Valley are not able to run block for them. Now, I did say there was going to be maybe a bit of a dead cat bounce this year. I honestly didn't think that, I might actually be wrong. And then I'm not going to be right on everything. But I mean, it's like you might start seeing a little bit of an improvement as the year goes on. But I mean, it's bottom line here is that, I mean, it's like, and I said this with Star Wars. I mean, you're dealing with people who are they've either drank the Kool-Aid, they're too lazy or too stupid to do anything about it. They've got a financial investment in doing what it is they're doing, or they're just so arrogant and hubris. They got so much arrogance and they got so much hubris that they just won't do anything about it because they think they know better because they got the quote-unquote university degrees. And they are just going, and I've seen this because the only other parallel that I could draw to what's going on in Hollywood and what I'm seeing going on, and we get to when we talked about James O'Keefe on the last show, is that, I mean, you're just seeing people and they're just going to ride it out until the wheels come off. That's the only conclusion that I can safely come up with. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
You got me really off my game with these topics today. I don't know. I don't know if I can add anything to what you said. I do know the pandemic did, as you said, hasten the wokification of Hollywood. It coinciding with that, it's just turned everybody into big pussycats. Just everybody's so Everybody's psyche is so fragile and weak, and I just don't recognize people anymore. Everybody's afraid of everything. I will say that I noticed that, just to go along with your point. But no, I really don't have anything else to say.
Rearson.
One woke movie not doing very well or tanking, followed by 2 or 3, should start to tell the production companies, the people sending in the money, that, hey, things keep going on this direction. It doesn't look like it's going to be all that good. As I said already tonight, early in this podcast, Kennedy and Iger are on the Titanic, and it's not, Captain, there's a submerged iceberg in front of us. Fuck it, ramming speed. We're going through. We're going to beat that. We're invincible. No, you're not. No, you're not. All it took for me to stop subbing for Disney Plus, my interest in it really started to wane. I watched Obi-Wan, then I watched the Book of Boba Fett, and those were just absolute fucking dumpster fires. They were awful, absolutely awful. And then I waited to see what Mando Season 3 was going to be like. And in that time, I only resubbed because Bad Batch was on. Again, it was something that my son and I bonded over. And we got a good relationship, but we both enjoyed watching it. Well, nope, that's not going to happen anymore either. Ahsoka, oh, fuck. What a rotten, stinky, like, whatever chemical that they use for making stink bombs, like, they must have aerosolized like 20 barrels of this stuff in Lucasfilm and lit the whole thing on fire. It blew up, and the stink was noticeable well outside the blast radius, shall we say. They know this. They know what the fans want. They know what the audience wants, and they're not doing it. Like, they just absolutely outright fucking refuse. This is a little bit off topic, and maybe we'll have to bring this in for next week, and I sent this to you on Telegram, my friend. But apparently the black, allegedly, I guess, I don't know, I haven't watched it, gay doctor, he's ready to quit. He's going to pull he's got a case of Whitakeritis. Ship's going down. He's probably going to jump ship and say, nope, this is not, this is going to be a big black mark on his acting career. And if this is true, haven't listened to anything yet, he knows what's going to happen. He's getting out now. Guess what? It's going to be, this is the entertainment industry across the board. I shudder at the shit that's on TV at this point. And for this to be, if it was only Disney and it was only Disney, period, then I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't think too much of it. But it's across the board. I mean, Naruki, what did you say? Like, it's in excess of $8 billion since
8.8 billion, yeah.
So roughly $9 billion since what, 2018, 2019?
Well, that was down 8.8 billion from the pre-COVID 2019 numbers.
Okay. You cannot spin that positively in any way because it's bad. And as you said, up to a quarter to maybe a third of that so about, say, 20 to 25% of that is Disney. That's a sizable loss, no matter which way you look at it. So they know what they're doing, and nobody likes it. And again, it's finally now spilled over with the wokeness into the lack of Disney. Oh, fuck, what the hell is it again? The theme parks. I mean, there was the Galactic Star Cruise or whatever the fuck that whole idea was. But again, it was the Star Wars that nobody really wanted. It was too expensive. You couldn't. You were incredibly limited. There were no windows per se, and it was all basically Rey themed. So they probably had more than enough data to tell them, don't do this, or we're going to do it anyway. Okay, well, you're not going to listen to me, so what the fuck do I know? Life goes on, the insanity only continues, and that's exactly what this whole thing has been, is a classic example of insanity. So no sympathy for the decision makers. I have no sympathy for the executives. I have no sympathy at all. I'm sorry for the people that have bought shares into these companies. If they sell it now, it'd be a loss. But I almost think that would be the best thing that they could actually do, is to dump their stock and basically say, yeah, I'll take the loss. It's going to suck, but I'll take the loss. And if enough common shareholders dump their stock in Disney or Warner or whatever other companies that are out there that they have stock in, you know what? As the saying goes, money talks and bullshit walks. So sitting on the sidelines and hoping against hope that maybe that's going to turn around and, well, we just have to wait a little bit longer. I waited 2 fucking years with my union that I unfortunately had started to organize. And what did I get out of it? 13 fucking cent increase. I'm a little pissed right now, to say the least. Actually, I'm downright pissed. Now, speaking of which, I suppose, in a sense, not that Disney has the money, but that's when they also provided a pittance of a dividend. I think it was like 30 cents a share for a dividend. And that is a slap in the face. But the expected business model of a for-profit making content for the audience doesn't apply. Now, is this Big Rock and Vanguard and State Street and whatever else that's out there? Yeah, it probably is, because they're pushing all the social engineering. But, and as we talked about already earlier in the podcast, with the activist Muslim feminist director for Star Wars, it is boneheaded moves like this. They know what is not going to work, but they're going to do it anyway, because I suppose it's just like thinking of communism. Well, the other forms of communism didn't work. Ours is going to work for sure now this time. Let's do it. Let's burn our bras. You know, that kind of dumb fucking shit. So they know what they're doing. They think it's going to be different this time. And will they learn? I don't know, because just like the dating scene, once I become single again, I'm not going to be looking to. I'm not going to be jumping through the frickin' hoops. I'm going to be playing the games. And I'm not playing the games with these fucking idiots either. As I've said, Sound of Freedom was the last movie that I saw because it was an actual real movie. And Disney did their best to keep the lid on it for 7 years. Well, 7+ years before they sold it off to Angel Studios. So let that sink in. Just let that sink in. And I got nothing more, man.
Yeah. And don't feel the least bit sorry for Hollywood, but let's get into this next one. Is really interesting. Because I saw a video when I was out working in camp, where this guy, I actually posted it up too. Hold on a second. about how the deep state what the deep state was going to do if Trump was going to win. And one of the contingencies on that is that they were going to try to get they were going to try to get a globalist plant in SVP. Now, what I had seen on the mainstream media was a lot of talk about Nikki Haley being the choice for VP, and the consensus is that everybody was kind of hoping that Trump was not going to be dumb enough to select her. And of course, both Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis both really started viciously going after Nikki Haley. A lot of stuff about Nikki Haley became publicly available. And again, is it in a tribute to how ineffective the mainstream media has actually been getting? Trump actually went on the record as saying that Nikki Haley is not being considered as VP. So that whole plan just kind of went down the tubes. Now, does that mean that that they're going to try and maybe get another person in there? Possibly. It was very clear that Nikki Haley was the establishment choice to get that spot. And this is just what all I'm going to say about it is that Trump is going to have to pick a VP candidate that will be even more dedicated to what he has planned than he is. That way the globalists will not only have to get rid of Trump, but they will also have to get rid of the VP, which basically means that it's either going to have to be Ramaswamy or DeSantis. One of those two, or maybe Kerry Lake. Because they're going to need somebody in there who, if they try to impeach Trump, and let me emphasize this, they are immediately going to try to smear Trump, and they are immediately going to start up with some type of an impeachment proceeding against him, like within the first year, within the year 2025. They will immediately start doing that, and they will continue to keep trying to do that over the flimsiest of reasons. Now, one of the things that might stop them and make them hesitate is if they've got to get rid of both the president and the vice president in order for it to work. The fact of the matter is that, and to quote Hammerhand, he said it on December 31st, these people were engaged in a soft coup, and they are not going to just quietly walk away. And they are also going to do things like push flip-floppers and unreliable individuals. Nikki Haley was the actual equivalent of doing of Kamala Harris, except she's a Republican and Kamala Harris was a Democrat. The Kamala Harris decision that Joe Biden made back in 2020 didn't make sense. It makes sense now. They were pushing Nikki Haley. They were hoping that Trump was going to be. Here's the thing, though. And I don't want to attribute godlike characteristics to Donald Trump, but it's becoming very, very clear that Donald Trump is a lot more aware of some of the dirty tricks and some of the ploys that they pulled back in his last run, and they are not going to be able to do it the second time around. But anyway, yeah, they tried to push really hard to have Nikki Haley brought in. Nikki Haley got exposed. Donald Trump was on the record, I think it was this week, saying that Nikki Haley is not being considered the nomination for VP. But I can tell you, I saw a lot of mainstream sources that were really suggesting that was the way he was going. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V. By the way, guys, I hope you like the big boob pics I posted up in the chat.
Yeah, I can't even get to the unmute button.
I gotta take a look.
Got drugs on my screen. Yeah, thank you. All right, well, yeah, well, again, politician is a politician. I you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, and this is just something I don't know. If she's Mother Teresa, well, actually, that's a bad example. If she's some, I don't know, just say any saint, great, push for it. But I'm just expecting the same old, same old. The only person in politics is actually, no, I'll say two. The only two people in politics that actually impress me is Ted Cruz and Donald Trump. So, actually, if there was a third, it'd definitely be Ron DeSantis. So, and from the very beginning, I've always said that Trump should have been buddying up with Ron because that needs to be his VP. It just threw me for a loop when I seen him trash talking Ron DeSantis. There's no the two politicians that are just the most aligned are Trump and DeSantis. So I'm not so familiar with this Nikki Haley. I don't know. It's just something that we have to see, and like I said, I'm expecting more of the same. So, yeah, we'll see. That's another issue.
Boobs. Oh God, I gotta get
You're
that
welcome.
out. Yeah,
You're welcome.
you know, I like the first one because there's that subtle outline of her nipples. She's not excited, but they are certainly there. And I wonder how many of them are going to be screaming victim later on when it seems to be inconvenient to be remembered for your chesticles rather than anything else that you didn't promote. Haley, this woman's proven to be, I can only describe her as being a useful idiot. I mean, there was having listened to the Rageaholic or Razor Fist, whatever you want to call him, he ripped a strip out of her. She's been nothing, honestly, but a globalist shill, in my honest opinion, right from the beginning. I mean, they were really pushing for her before, and I don't see it that it's going to happen. Period. Sorry, folks, but I just don't. The kerfuffle between DeSantis and Trump, I believe it was actually DeSantis that went after Trump first. I can't say for certain, but typically, if he's looking at you in a bad way, he'll rip you to shreds. If he's looking at you in a good way, he'll raise you up. And that's more or less what I would expect for someone of his experience and stature and status. I can't remember the backing that I saw of her. I think she ended up getting the Koch brothers to give their approval to her. So, I mean, that really should be speaking volumes. But mind you, Vivek Swearamari I don't fucking know what his last name is. He has also come across in the past of also being very much pro-vaccine. So I don't trust him, and I certainly don't trust Nikki Haley. DeSantis went pretty damn hard when it came down to the lockdowns in Florida, and once it came to the understanding that the cruise ship industry is going to falter, or it's going to have a serious kink in the economy of Florida after, I think, about a year. That's when he opened up things up. So we can't trust that little fucker either. So take your pick, I suppose. But again, the state of Maine apparently has filed to have Trump taken off their docket because you apparently cannot be the president of the United States with 2 terms. So right now, who fucking knows? I have an idea, but I can't say with any certainty. So, and I don't see any of the immediate candidates being worthy of the of being VP. Do I think he would bring in a woman as a VP? Possibly. But who that would be at this point right now, your guess is as good as mine. And I'm honestly not in any mood to speculate at this point right now. I've got a lot of other things on my mind right now that are a lot more important than this. But within 3 weeks, if it all works out well, I'll have to take a long, hard look at politics south of the border. So we will see. And on that note, my friend, I have nothing more to add.
Okay, hold on a second. We're getting a lot of activity here all of a sudden. Okay, so the last...
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, okay, we won't be talking about boobs on the next show. How about that? All right, so the last topic. Oh, and this one is just absolutely special. Okay, Mark Cuban has bought in fully to the DEI thing, which, I mean, can't really say I'm entirely can't say that's entirely unexpected. The whole thing with what happened is that Mark Cuban went on this multi-tweet rant about why DEI was good and inclusion was really important with a company and so on and so forth. There is just, and this is something that Elon Musk brought up, there is just one problem with everything he is saying. Because he owns the basketball team, the Dallas Mavericks. Now, is he going to apply DEI to the Dallas Mavericks? He kept doubling. He actually, when he first got challenged on this, and he was getting ratioed into oblivion, what he actually tried to do is, and no goddamn kidding, well, show me a company that's engaged. I dare you to show me a company that was engaged in in this type of prejudicial hiring. And we had literally just covered Red Hat like 3 episodes ago. And like that's what literally happens. Like somebody brought up Red Hat and the practice that they were doing at Red Hat. So yeah. I never really Mark Cuban really went down in value in my eyes, because when I first heard of him, I thought he was fairly reasonable. Keep in mind, this was back in the days when Steve Nash was still playing for the Dallas Mavericks. Steve Nash was going to play for Canada at the World Basketball Championships. Mark Cuban let it be known in no uncertain terms that the insurance that he had would not pay for any of Nash's injuries if Nash got injured at the World Basketball Championship. So Steve Nash pulled out. I'm also thinking that may have been one of the reasons why he ended up deciding to leave. The issue that really stuck out with me is that this is not the first time that Cuban has tweeted something real or said something really stupid in regards to wokeness, except that this time, when he tweeted something really stupid on Twitter, Twitter's not there to, the algorithm isn't protecting. For instance, all of these pro-mask, all of this pro-COVID stuff that I'm seeing getting posted up on Twitter. When these people post up these comments on Twitter, what they're seeing is that they're seeing the fact that they're getting ratioed into oblivion on Twitter, because it's, they can't make it. They can't keep pushing it anymore, because it's sort of like, they don't have, because what Twitter was doing is that these insane leftists and all the stuff around COVID and whatever, they were posting this stuff up, and then the algorithm was designed and was really specific, which is why the Krasensteins became so famous, by the way. The people, whenever Trump supported, if you said something pro-Trump, your comment got buried deep in the feed. Now the comments are the ones that get the most upvotes, and the comments are the ones, or the people that are, like the Krasensteins aren't able to get as big of a grift going now, because it's sort of like whenever they post up, they're not getting the big circle. This is something that happened which is why Threads was supposed to be such a big thing at some point, right? Like, they're not getting the circle jerk that they used to. And Instagram the left had to basically do the same thing that the right did with Gab, which is they had to go and form their own thing. And Instagram, to no one's surprise, isn't even doing as well as Gab is doing. And, if he had just posted that up and had just stayed silent, it wouldn't have been so bad. But Cuban kept doubling down, and he kept getting owned, right? And ultimately, what ended up happening is the fact of the matter is that, if you're going to apply DEI, then you also have to apply it to the Dallas Mavericks. So where are the not black, because most of the players in the NBA are black. Where's the white transgender midget playing for the Dallas Mavericks? After all, or no, how about the Asian transgender midget? There we go. That knocks off even more boxes. Why is that person not playing for the Mavericks? Diversity, equity, inclusion. Mr. Cuban. And yeah, I had to throw that in, because it was like, oh my God, like, how stupid could you possibly fucking get? And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah, well, again, I don't know. But was this a added topic between? Haley
I added. I saw it. I saw it about 2 hours before the deadline.
Okay, yeah, I was not prepared for it. Gee whiz, I'm just a bummer in this episode. I'm gonna have to pass it over to Rooston. I'll talk about you, Elon, when you guys are done, though.
Fine, I'm more or less in the same boat. Cuban, I've never liked him. I've seen him on Dragon's Den, I think it is, the US version. He's done things that have been, I don't remember exactly what they were. I'm pretty sure that we've talked about him on at least one or two occasions on the podcast. But I wouldn't know this. Whatever. I've got a feeling that he's probably been a big enough donor to the Democrat Party, so yeah. I'm not even going to try my bullshit my way through this one. I got nothing on this one, my friend. I really don't. Just Elon calling out the corporate bullshit between other people at his level. Yeah, you know what? Great. Good on you. Good. Go for it, and hopefully you'll be. And maybe this will be something that the executives, the CEOs, presidents, owners, whatever, can start to expect this for him to basically say, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" Or smarten up. So, yeah, done. I got nothing.
Okay, so thank you, Stephen V, for coming on very short notice. Yeah, I was. I've got there's been a slight alteration to my schedule, so I got someplace I got to be in a little over an hour here. Thank you very much. The next show is going to be done from. Because I actually go back out Wednesday, so the next show will be done from camp. But thank you very much for showing up. Like, subscribe, and yeah, I will get all these back 3 videos edited and posted up here in the next day or two. But thank you very much.